What do I like about Resident Evil? Is it the fixed camera angles?
No!
Is it the brief, eerie/creepy moments, environments, and monsters accompanied by thrilling action? As you can probably already tell, I'm much more partial to the action-heavy side of Resident Evil. While on the topic of action, let's talk about Mercenaries mode. Mercenaries mode is a lot more important than you might initially realize. The campaigns of these games are nice, but a lot of times, I'd rather just sink into some fun, action-packed Resident Evil gameplay, without any story hindrance. There is a problem with pretty much every iteration of Mercenaries though. It is inherently against you having fun. How? The presence of the timer. This disgusting abomination has been bothering me ever since I started playing Mercenaries. Keeping combos going also isn't really all that satisfying or important. You will often find you lose your combos to artificial BS, such as in RE4 and 5, where 10 seconds can go by where 0 enemies are present, and the second an enemy comes into view, you've already lost your combo. Or you'll shoot a Ganado's head and a Plaga will come out. Well, not a big deal. I'll just shoot someone else real quick. We need a mode where you can just keep on going until you lose, or have some sort of objective where you need to complete a task in the midst of all the chaos, so you can survive and end the game. With RE4 Remake out of the way, there's been talks about what the future of the series holds. Will it be RE5 Remake, or Code Veronica? Maybe they'll even remake the first game again.
To be honest, I don't really care one way or another.
I'd say I'm sick of the remakes and remasters, but we all know that there's nothing that can be done. What I want to talk about is how we can move on from here, putting the remakes aside. RE7 and RE8 were really good Resident Evil games in my opinion. RE7 is noted as the game that saved Resident Evil, and RE8, although not as well regarded, kept the first-person perspective, the story of Ethan Winters, and a little more action, all of which made for a pretty good fucking time. The thing is, it would appear that, along with the gaming industry as a whole, people are a little resistant to change. I remember hearing an absolutely stupid phrase from someone. I don't remember who, but they said something along the lines of, Resident Evil 7 isn't a survival horror because it doesn't have the camera angles of the original games. I've seen people say that they hate Ethan Winters, that he's a nobody. Well, that's just fine. I disagree, but it's a fair opinion. I feel the same way about pretty much every character that isn't Jill or Chris in Resident Evil Revelations.
Why save Parker?
I have my reasons.
What I don't like is the people who are saying that they need to go and start a new story with the old characters again. RE7 and 8 used a new character who isn't some BSAA or Secret Service badass doing some sick melee moves, managed to make it scary, integrated Chris Redfield and the rest of the existing Resident Evil universe in a natural and organic way. So it's a real shame everyone just wants remakes or newer games that keep these hardened, not scared whatsoever, grandpas and grannies.
Except you stay.
This confuses me also. A lot of people want the games to be scarier. Yet, by bringing in these guys over and over again, where it's their literal 9-to-5 job, the fear is lost. There's a divide in the Resident Evil players who want either survival horror or action, no in between. But either way the direction of the series goes in, I'm good with, as long as it's fun. A controversial statement, I know. People get so caught up in the so-called identity of a game. If the game excels in something and you enjoy playing it, that's all that really should matter. Another topic of discussion I wanted to bring up is the return of co-op in the series, whether in a new title or in an inevitable RE5 remake. In the case of an RE5 remake, the presence of co-op should be a no-brainer. The Resident Evil franchise has dabbled into multiplayer as of late, but yeah, nobody's playing that shit. The co-op games were great fun. Love them or hate them. Call them not Resident Evil because there's fucking action or whatever. Boo fucking who. They were fun. Even if you don't want to build the entire game around co-op, you could pull a Dying Light, Halo, or Resident Evil 6 Ada campaign, where the second player character just doesn't exist canonically, which is actually a co-op method I think we should see more of. Imagine all the games in your library. That would be an even greater experience with a pal. If RE5 Remake doesn't have co-op, I won't be buying it for a while, or even at all. I have a little theory, for no other reason that I am a very pessimistic person, but remember that one boss fight in Resident Evil 4 Remake where you fight the two giants with Luis? and his role in the fight is to be completely invulnerable and just distract the enemy. With all the complaining about the AI partners in RE5, I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if Capcom were to make the game single player and just have an invincible companion that doesn't take up ammo like in this section. That's all my thoughts on the matter of Resident Evil as it stands today. Resident Evil isn't one of my all-time favorite franchises, but it very well could be if Capcom plays their cards right. Here's hoping the next game is solid.